Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Ion Franchising. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Ion Franchising. I am your host, Lance Graulich. Today, we're going to the dogs. Well, this is a hot brand, and it's been a hot brand for a while, and there's a new sheriff in town. So we're going to hear all about it. So she was, let's just say, an Air Force veteran, 10 years in the Air Force. And by the way, I'm going to thank her for her service right there. ExxonMobil senior executive turned franchisee, and then she buys the brand. So welcome to the show, the CEO of Dog Training Elite, Betsy Feaster. Hello, Betsy.
Hello, Lance. Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here.
This is going to be exciting. Thank you for being here. So how did this all come about? So thank you for your service again. You were an executive. What made you want to franchise in the first place?
You know, I loved working for ExxonMobil, and the joke that goes around with my former colleagues is that I left because I didn't want to be the CEO, and so here I sit as a CEO. It all came about because my husband and I just spent 6 years in Africa, and we really wanted to be closer to our family. And as you get higher up in the ladder in these big corporations, they're more, kind of harder assignments. And we really wanted to do something together. And my husband's an Army veteran as well. He's been putting up with me kind of going all over the world and supporting me through the ExxonMobil turmoil and all the stress and all of that. And it was his turn. I said, look, I don't really want to do this kind of international travel, and I want to do something together where we're both really, really happy and giving back to the community. And so we both grew up with dogs. We have dogs, and he was the one. I got to give him all the credit. I said, well, I'd really like to do something in the dog training world. He found DTE. He met the former CEO, Kelly, and we became fast friends and trusted their brand, and it was just super appealing to us. From my standpoint, he wanted to do it to train dogs. I looked at, is there a revenue stream for us? And it just so happened there was a good revenue stream, and we get to do what we love. So
how many territories?
So we own 16 territories, 13 outside of Philadelphia and 3 in Louisiana.
How did that start, though? You didn't buy 16 at once, did you?
No, so when we came back from Africa, ExxonMobil actually, we joke about it because they kind of gave me the slow entry back into the U.S. culture by sending me to Louisiana to redo all the pipelines that are underneath that run all the gas and oil. So while we were there, it was a short-term gig while they were working my next international assignment. And so we just loved Louisiana. And so at the same time, we found so it's in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We loved the culture, very similar to the Northeast. I know that sounds weird, but it is. And we just wanted to start there. And so we did. And because we did better than we thought we were going to do financially, and we were having so much fun. I'm from Philadelphia, so we ended up buying a bunch of territories in Philadelphia, which is where we're going to end up retiring. So it's been super cool. Quite a ride.
So, I love to always share with the audience important notes, and just based on what you said, we all know that when somebody buys multiple territories of a franchise brand, there's money to be made. So I'm happy to hear that you built up to 16. And then how did this whole transition happen to you becoming the franchisor?
Yeah, so really good question. It's a great revenue stream, like I said. And because we exceeded our goals in Louisiana, we were like, oh, well, we can just keep going, And through that process, we became so heavily emotionally and financially invested, and we were doing really well. And it just so happened that one of the former owners was ready to move on. They asked us if we wanted to purchase their shares. We did. And then when we came in, this is the business side, right? The ExxonMobil pays off every day, so does the military. But, I started looking at the numbers and interrogating some questions and talking about vision and strategy and where are we going. And 3 days later, the board asked me to take this job. Initially, I said no. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to go train dogs. And then I realized that I could actually really help continue to grow the brand and help the current franchisees make more money. So I took the job.
That corporate and military training not just dog training, all work.
I can't get away from it. I can't get away from it. I'm trying.
That's absolutely fantastic. So what are the plans besides being the biggest dog training brand in the world, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, yep, that's definitely the vision. Definitely, we want to be industry leading, both in a franchise standpoint and also on the cutting edge of training. So the plan is that we're going to, continue to grow. When I got the job, we weren't selling in California and we weren't selling in New York. So those are two states that have a lot of opportunity. And because I'm from Philadelphia, there's a little twist with New York that I can provide a little bit of experience there. And California's got, 72 open territories that when we map it out. So it's wide open. Oregon, Boise, Idaho. So those are some areas that we know that people, for example, California, I know you didn't ask this, but California's the lawsuit rate in California for people with pets averages, it's a pretty high numbers because of dogs getting off leash, dogs misbehaving, this, that. So we feel like it's a good way to help, decrease that and provide some training to some good dogs.
Yeah. California is just a tough state overall. Yeah. So glad to see you see the optimistic side of the silver lining of registering to sell franchises in California.
Yeah. So we finally got it and pushed it over the line a couple months ago. So we're real excited about developing it.
So Kelly, we should lay out what Dog Training Elite actually is for those that have never heard of it. So what is it? What isn't it?
So Dog Training Elite we train dogs from obedience through advanced service. And in that advanced service, you could, mobility support, autism support, scent support, diabetic alert, protection. We do all the gamut. What makes us different is we're primarily an in-home business. So we come to you on your schedule. Our philosophy really is that, there are a lot of board and train options, where you take your dog, you leave him for a couple of weeks, you go pick him up. Ours is a little different because we're really focused on training you, Lance, and developing that relationship between you and your dog. Yeah. I'd be like, did you do your homework? And you'd say, no, I want to be like, Lance, got to do your homework.
So Betsy, I happen to have 4 dogs, so I know what you're talking about, and it is difficult to train me.
Yeah, no, that's good. We could get you there. But, ultimately you look at our business and you could say, because we're Dog Training Elite, that we just train dogs, but it's 50-50, right? Maybe 60-40 that we're training you. We want you to have a happy life with your dog. And we want to give you all the techniques that after you're finished our program, that you know how to deal with certain situations. So we like to say sometimes that we're the last dog trainer you'll ever need, because we're going to give you all the tools to go ahead and train your dogs. So that makes us a little different, that we're in home. We also do some group sessions like a lot of folks, and some of our franchises actually have facilities where you could, busy people like yourself, if you're going to work all day, you want to drop your dog off at 8 a.m., we'll train your dog all day, you pick them up at 5. And then we go through kind of the things that we reviewed. So you got a lot of a la carte menu, very comprehensive. Last thing I'll say that really is appealing to a lot of people that I really like is that if you were to go on and to the internet and search, I want to buy a service dog, I need a service dog, it's probably going to be $25,000. We do it at a much reduced cost because, back to the earlier comment, you have to do some work too. So we work with people to help customize their dog and make everybody happier. So
that's awesome.
It's a great brand.
So now that you've been a franchisee, besides the CEO, what are the attributes that you're looking for in future franchisees? Who is the most successful individual? Is there a specific background? I mean, look at you. Obviously, corporate and military both help.
Yeah, they both help. This is the right job for me. It really is. The first part of it is it's a lot of hustle, right? So we're looking for people that are, the first 6 months, you're out doing shows, home shows, generating leads, doing that sort of thing. So somebody that's not afraid to work hard, and it picks up, right? The cycle, once you get some good reviews, it just takes off. So we want hard work, and we also want personable people. So, because we're in your home, right? So we have to be trustworthy and be able to be able to have a conversation with you. And, we like to say that the business stuff is easy. It's the dog training that's hard, right? You can't become a dog trainer overnight. We're going to teach you everything, but it takes practice. So we really like good people with good business backgrounds because they can understand how to run their business, and we'll help you learn to train your dog. So.
Yeah, love it. So what's the typical investment? And I know most people are doing multi-units to start, aren't they?
Yeah, so we're encouraging folks to do 3 units to start. So the investment, the initial investment, is it can vary. It's usually about in the mid 100s, and that investment gets you, 3 territories, and then after that, there's additional training that we offer and things like that. But the overhead is pretty low. We don't require you to have a facility, so you're out doing it on your own. It's your dog. You have to have a dog, okay? Your dog, you, and your truck, right, or whatever, because you're kind of going around and demonstrating, training your dog and training clients until you're ready to hire more trainers. And so it's a really nice model for somebody who wants to start with revenue just for yourself.
Right. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about the process. So once you find somebody and they start going through your process, and obviously franchising is a two-way street. You have to like each other. They're financially qualified. They have a dog. They're passionate, personality, sales ability, whatever it might be. Do you have like a discovery day, a meet the team day? Describe that process, validation, all that, so people understand.
Yeah. So if we fast forward, that's a good question. Thanks, Lance. Like if we fast forward through the financial check and the standard what you would need for any franchise, what we do is the first step is you would set up a call with me, and I'll say, we'll be able to tell, do you like our brand? Do you like us? Can you tolerate somebody from Philadelphia as your CEO? And and then if that goes well, then the next thing is we do kind of a discovery / approval day where we bring you out to Salt Lake City, and you get to meet our entire staff, and you get to meet it's a cool job, right? Because everybody brings their dogs to work. So you get to see all these dogs that have been through our training and how good they are. And you're like, wow, well, you just did an entire talk to me and your dog didn't get off of place cut, and you're like, yeah, this is what we're giving you. And you meet the members of the board, and we go through that. And so if you like us and we like you, then we offer you whatever is available, based on your interests. And then you come out for a 2-week. Once you sign the franchise agreement, we do a 2-week boot camp, where it's primarily focused on how to train your dog and how to make your dog what we call a demo dog, going out to a client and showing them what you can do. So it's pretty seamless, and it's fun. The boot camp is fun. We're all here for you.
So the boot camp is did you say 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah. That's
so we spend the time training, and then you go out and chat, because we've got a franchise here in Salt Lake City. We've got 3 of them, and 3 or 4 in Utah. So you get to see a bunch of different franchises and how they do it, and different state. We take you out and show you a protection dog if that's something that you really like, or a service dog, and even the upfront, how do you close at the sale, things like that. So you spend that's like in the afternoons, but in the morning it's let's learn how to train, and it's
Now, who typically goes to training? Is it the owner plus like one other individual normally, like 2 people?
Yeah, generally. So we offer it for 2 people. What we recommend when folks start is, because you want to keep your overhead low, right? Everybody, although we love dogs, it's still business, right? So we try to recommend to folks that you probably want one person that's going to be out doing the training and one person that's doing the administrative side. So we get a lot of folks that are like married couples, like my husband and I. So, he started saying he wanted to train dogs, and then he was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do the invoicing. So I was doing the training, which is great for me. But so that team approach really helps couples. That works great. Or, if you just want to hire somebody to help you answer the phone, because you don't want to miss the phone, because there are a billion dog trainers out there, right? So we want to have somebody make sure you can take the call.
And you're taking your dog to training, correct?
Yep. So in the boot camp portion, we ask folks to actually bring their dogs. So you go through the whole process with your own dog, which is phenomenal, right? Because everybody's like, oh, my dog is good. And then they come here and they're like, oh, my dog is not that good.
My dog's not that good.
Everybody has different standards. Like, my dog's good. It can sit. And then we're like, no, the dog has to hold the sit. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So it's cool. You get to go through it, and we've got on staff one of the best, probably the world leader in scent diabetic alert dog training. So she's here, and we get you through it. And so then after that, you're ready to go. So you drive around with your dog all day, and show off. It's
I
cool.
love it. That's fantastic. All right, so let's talk a little bit about marketing. So a lot of people, because I'm a franchise broker, a lot of people that come to me, they get really stressed about not knowing what's going to happen in the first 6 months of business or first year. And obviously, buying a franchise, there is a roadmap, some sort of blueprint. So you can certainly predict, you're not going to promise, but you can certainly predict based on past successes where somebody should be. But talk a little bit about like the marketing and the ramp up period and what that's like. You already mentioned that home shows and things like that in the first
Mhm,
6 months, really getting that lead flow going.
mhm. Yeah, so we kind of do a little bit of guerrilla marketing, going out and doing the boots on the ground type of thing, and like we talked about, the first 6 months can be it's a lot of work, right? Just because, just like any business, you're starting. But fortunately, our brand name is growing a lot, so you're going to get a better client base than you would have 8 years ago.
Yeah.
We also do some marketing. We do a lot of SEO work, and it usually takes 3 to 6 months for that SEO work in the background to really kick in. So generally, after the first 6 months, you're in need of hiring more trainers.
Mhm.
You're kind of like, I can't do 7 dog training appointments in a day. So to answer your question, it's just sort of learning everything you can at boot camp, going out there and just making it happen. The SEO stuff will catch up, and then you're going to be busier than you ever thought you were going to be. We have very few franchisees that don't do really well, and those are just folks that, for example, maybe have another job, and they're just doing this on part
Yeah.
time. If you dedicate to this, you will be successful.
Yeah, and I've heard, I think we alluded to it earlier. I mean, this is something you bought a lot of territories for a reason,
Yeah.
not just because of your passion. You need to replace a corporate income and what have you. So the possibilities are endless. I mean, you can build multi-million dollar businesses out of dog training.
Yeah, we have a statistically relevant number of franchises that are making over $1 million a year. So it doesn't happen the first day, but these we've only been open for 8 years, so you can think about it in those terms. It happens quickly, and then it just becomes a matter of decision making. Do you want to build a facility? Do you not? Do you want to buy
Yes.
more territories? Do you not? And so, how many trainers do you want to have? So we've had very, very successful franchisees that they started with nothing, just barely pulling together the small business loan to buy in, and now they're
Yeah.
wealthier than they thought they would ever be. So it's cool.
Well, and I know a lot of the business started purely doing mobile, and you just talked about that there's options today. You can do some sort of brick and mortar facility, and
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you grow, is that pretty much the new goal these days?
We found a lot of people that really like that. It just depends on the franchisee. We have one in Louisiana, and we like it. So it gets a different type of audience, right? So if it was somebody who has 4 kids and they don't want to deal with going to work all day and training their dog at night, you've got an option to bring them to a facility. So it just broadens the spectrum of training opportunities. And the other big change that we just made was, we used to be just fundamentally e-collar trainers. So it's not a shot collar, but an e-collar. We're now moving, we're still fundamentally that way. Everybody's going to learn how to train on the e-collar, but we've also just developed a class that we're calling balanced training, where you're going to learn 15 different techniques. So that also opens the aperture, because in areas like New York, probably, and California, and even Philadelphia, they're like, I don't like the e-collar. That's abusing the dog. It's not at all, especially the way that we do it. But folks might see that on our website and go, I don't even want to talk to them.
Yeah.
So we're opening even more, the aperture even larger, so that our franchisees can generate more and more income.
So let's talk a little bit about hiring. Everybody today just got off a call this morning, a group call with some folks, a family. I don't want to do that business because it's hard to hire. I don't want to do that business. It's like, wait a second, what business do you want to do? Apparently, it's hard to hire everywhere these days. So
Yeah.
what about you? I mean, I would imagine working with animals, it's a lot easier to hire than other industries.
It really is. People, there are a lot, as you well know, the number of dogs has just grown exponentially over the last 3 years. So a lot of people love dogs, and that's an easy entry. To be honest, what I've done in my franchises is hire former clients, because I can see them, how, get to know them really well. Like my head trainer in Philadelphia, she was a client. She's amazing. I had to buy her out of her current job, but that's all right. She's done great. And so, there are also, you won't, in our business, you won't be hurting for candidates. It's finding the right candidate, right? The person that is going to go into a home and be trustworthy, on time, responsive. So you won't have a dearth of candidates. You'll be able to be selective in who you want.
And when you're open, you're operating, you're hiring new folks. So is the franchise owner the one, or someone on their team, the head trainer that's going to train the new staff?
Generally, yeah, at the beginning. So, probably because the franchise owner and one other person will probably come to boot camp, and then they'll be training up the staff, and we're going to give them all those tools. But you can always send them to Salt Lake City. We have so many, like I said, we've got multiple units here in Utah. If you wanted to send somebody up here and just run around with all of our trainers, that's great. I bring my trainers up here at least once a year just to monitor them. No, just to make sure they've got everything that they need tool wise. And then after that, you'll hire a head trainer that'll take care of all of that for you. Probably your first trainer if they're doing really well.
I love it. Betsy, you've just unloaded an enormous amount of information. I'm so excited for Dog Training Elite. I'm so excited for your future to be the largest dog training brand there is. What are your final thoughts, final words of wisdom for those listening that, a lot of people get confused about the world of franchising. There's a lot of people that say, well, I could do that on my own. Why do I need a franchise? So you tell me, tell them, tell the audience, why a franchise?
Well, our franchise, what you're getting automatically is, our name is really growing. So you're getting national awareness straight away. The other thing that you're getting is just a support network that it's been tested over time. So if there's a training question, we can answer it. If you don't, every dog not as different. So, but I would bet one of us has been through it. So you have this support system that is super beneficial. You don't have to go out on your own. And, you've got a group of franchisees, an automatic network that we set up individual teams where folks can talk and come up, and they always have recommendations for me. So that's fun. Everybody has an idea of how they want us to run our business, but they have an opportunity to talk with each other and share ideas. And that's something you won't get on your own, but you will get it with us. And we just love what we do. And we're real excited about where we're going to go.
I love it. Well, thank you, Betsy, for being here. You're awesome. Continued success. I know it's a rough life out there. Rough.
It's tough. It's tough out here. Tough in Utah. It's sunny, but the mountains are full of snow. So it's great.
Love it. Love it. Well, place. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lance. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.